Hello, I'm Sifu Lamar and Davis II, Executive Director of the United States Jeet Alliance and instructor of Bruce Lee's martial art of Jun Fan Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do Chinese kickboxing. I would like to welcome you to Volume 15 of my instructional series, Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Complete. Volume 15 covers training with equipment. In this tape, we hope to give you some ideas for some different ways that you, the practitioner, can train with this equipment to improve your skills in Jun Fan Kung Fu, Jeet Kune Do Chinese kickboxing, or whatever art you may study. The principles of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do can be used to improve or assist in any martial art. So in other words, you can take what I show you in this tape and make whatever you do work better, no matter what the art. The first piece of equipment that we're going to start with is the heavy bag. I've chosen this as the first piece of equipment because most martial arts have the heavy bag. Most martial artists work with a heavy bag, and that seems to be the most common piece of equipment that most people have in their home. So this is what we're going to work with first, the heavy bag. This is just a basic 70-pound heavy bag, and I have it hung on a shock spring so that it'll absorb some of the shock when I'm punching, striking, or kicking the bag. Okay, now, in the confines of this video, we're going to have to just show you a few things that you can do, some things that will hopefully give you some ideas and open your mind up to the potential for some of this equipment and make this equipment go to work for you. And that way you can use your imagination and you can create drills of your own, you can create combinations of your own, and hopefully in a short period of time improve your skill greatly. Alright, the heavy bag can be used, of course, for developing hand techniques, for developing the use of the knees, for developing the use of the feet, for the use of the elbows. You can even headbutt the heavy bag if you like. Okay, now, since the heavy bag is hung from the top, it gives somewhat of an unrealistic resistance. That's the only thing I don't like about the heavy bag. But because it is hung from the top, you know that when you hit it, it's not going to just go down, it's going to still be there, which enables you to just constantly blast the bag. Sometimes it's a good idea, depending on the drill that you're doing. Sometimes it may be a good idea to have a partner stand behind the bag and hold the bag still for you so the bag can't go anywhere. That way you can really blast the bag. It's not really going to hurt your partner as long as he positions himself where he's putting his body into the bag. Okay? Now you don't want it to get away from you sometimes, so this is a good idea to have a partner. Okay, now we're going to go into some of the just very beginning level basics of Jeet Kune Do that we can work on the heavy bag. Now, a lot of practitioners will tell you, if you say, I don't know, you may have seen instructional videotapes by other martial artists before, I don't know, but a lot of practitioners will tell you to tape the hands and to wear bag gloves. Okay, you'll notice that my hands aren't taped and I'm not wearing bag gloves. Alright, this is a personal preference. Taping the hands and wearing bag gloves is a good idea, especially for the beginning or intermediate level martial arts practitioner. I prefer to work with my equipment bare knuckle, no taping, no gloves, because I feel that that's a bit more realistic for the street. But then what you have to consider is that I have, at this time, 26 years of training in the martial arts, and my knuckles, my wrists, my hands are conditioned to impact of all types. So I can train on these different types of equipment and strike the equipment full force without doing any damage to my hands. So that's one thing you may want to consider, especially if you're a beginning level student. You may want to tape your hands, tape your wrists, and wear bag gloves to avoid injury. Okay, a few pointers I would like to make about the bag. When you strike the heavy bag, whether you're using a vertical fist or a horizontal fist, one of the most important things to consider is the wrist. The wrist has to be straight. That's very important. You must have a straight wrist when you strike the bag. If the wrist is bent in any way, you could break your wrist on impact or sprain your wrist on impact. So a straight wrist coming into the bag is very important. And that's whether your style, your method hits with a horizontal fist or a vertical fist like the Jeet Kune Do straight punch still, the wrist has to be straight. That's very important, especially on a blow like a hook punch. Coming in like so. If the wrist is not straight, it's very easy for the wrist to give at this point, and you can either sprain or break the wrist very easy. Okay? So when you're coming in with a hook, make sure that the wrist is straight, and therefore you don't take a chance of severe damage to it upon impact. Okay, now just a few techniques to give you some ideas of what you can do. I like to hang my heavy bag where the top of it is just above my head height, and so that the bottom of it is about groin height. Okay, this enables me to be able to deliver or train kicks to the groin and throw punches head high. Okay, so that's my preferred method of hanging the bag, where the bottom is about groin height and the top is just above the height of my head. Now when I bend my knees and get in my fighting stance, that puts it about right. Okay, now some simple combinations that you can work. Okay, and some simple what we refer to as single direct attack. Okay, now basic shots that you can work singly are just the straight punch. Okay, just pump it out there, straight out, straight back. Remember to exhale on impact. Okay, just the basic straight punch. Okay, the basic cross, which comes off the rear hand. Once again, notice that on impact, my wrist is straight. That's very important. The basic hook punch. High and low. High and low. Okay, once again, making sure that my wrist is straight. All right, combinations. Okay, you saw the lead punch and the rear punch. Okay, now I can combine those. Try to move around a little bit when you're working the bag. Treat it like a live opponent. Learn to time your hits so you're hitting the bag at the right time. Okay, I can go jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. Okay? I can also work kicks singly or in combination with the hands. Basic, most simple thing that we do is a straight kick to the groin. Okay? Another thing that I like to do is a hook kick to the midsection. Like so. That works well to the bag. Then, if you got a little more room, you can move in, kick the bag with a side kick, like so. Very powerful blow. Can also work the knees, both vertically and an angular knee strike to the bag, like so. You can work the elbows, both the lead and the rear. a very damaging blow. You can also, in some instances, work the headbutt. Okay, now with the headbutt, make sure that you fire with the top of the head, just above the forehead. That's where a headbutt is going to come in. That's the hardest part of the head, right up here, just above the hairline. That's where you want to fire with a headbutt. If you're firing an elbow, you want to catch your target with the last couple of inches, or the last inch or so of the elbow. So you drive the point of the elbow into your target. Okay, these are just some basic single strikes that you can work. Basic, simple combinations. Now I'm just going to work the bag freestyle a little bit, move around, let you see what it looks like. Little back fist combination there. Back fist, straight punch. Back fist, straight punch. Back fist hook. Low high hook. High low hook. Work a little bit from the left lead. Okay, I think you get the idea. The next piece of equipment that we're going to show you is the Fighting Man dummy. This particular piece of equipment is called a Fighting Man dummy. It's available from I&I Sports in Los Angeles, California. It's a good piece of equipment because it's somewhat like a human heavy bag. As you see, it resembles a human being, yet it can take great impact. So it's almost like having a real live opponent to deal with the exception that it can't fight back. Okay, just to give you some idea of how we use it to train in Jeet Kune Do. You can use it to develop various kicks. It's particularly good for developing shots to the groin because it does literally have a crotch type area here that you can work the kick. Okay, it's also good for developing accuracy in things such as finger jab to the throat or finger jab to the eyes, because it does have an area that represents eyes and it does have a visible throat. So you can work accuracy in a throat strike or an eye strike. And then once again the groin. These arms are very good for developing certain trapping hand movements. Okay? Alright, now you can sort of maneuver the dummy a little bit and get the arm kind of where you want it to be. So this would be like if I tried to fire a strike and I got blocked or parried. Okay, I could trap the arm and fire a back fist into the head of the dummy. Okay, so I have my strike coming in, I'm blocked, I trap and fire a back fist. This particular trapping movement is lopsal or grabbing hand. Okay, now sometimes the dummy tends to shift a little bit and you have to readjust his position. Okay, now this time I'm going to position him, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to initiate what we call an inverted hook kick to the groin. That's going to be my initial strike, okay? Inverted hook kick to the groin. Okay, then I'm going to beat, what we call a beat, which is where I strike the back of the hand, because the way we look at it, if I can hit the hand here, then it should still be there if I follow immediately with a trap. Okay, so I'm going to beat the back of the hand, trap the wrist, and fire a back fist here. Okay, after the back fist, I'm going to check, and I'm going to come in, and I'm going to hit the throat. Then I'm going to retrap, and I'm going to come in with an elbow to the head. Okay? Now, so the sequence we have here is kick, beat, trap, back fist, cutting hand, coming right into the throat, trap again, and come in with an elbow. Of course, you just kind of have to fire this elbow because you can't pull the dummy to you. Okay, so you have to use the imagination a little bit when you work with the dummy. Okay, so got him in position here. So this is what the sequence will look like when we speed it up a little bit. Again. And one more time. Okay. Now, some people like to unhook their dummy, put it on the floor, roll around with it, choke it, tie up the arms, and work various moves. I prefer to keep mine hanging up and work with it like this. You can work directly from the front on combining techniques for your initial entry, such as Jeet, Chun, which would be straight kick, vertical fist. You can come in and work on trapping or parrying and striking simultaneously. Come over to this side, raise the arm up on the dummy, and work on the lock style movement where you trap and punch, and work on the pot style movement where you slap the arm at the elbow joint and punch. Or you can work on combinations such as pop lock or lock pop. Okay? You can also train to engage and come around with the jiu style movement, striking to the face as you do so. Okay? You can work on engaging, come around, striking high, striking low, palm smash to the groin, follow through right into a back fist to the head, then right into a lock and punch, then slide down right into a foot style and punch, and then cut palm, drive a knee, and then an elbow. So, possible combinations on the fighting man are almost endless. You can beat from the inside, you can beat from the outside, and work on things like that. Work on a opposite lead engagement and do a Linlop style, or cross-grabbing hand, and fire your back fist in. You can work on various combinations from this side. You can strike, trap, elbow, headbutt. Now if you work the headbutt on this, I suggest that you just train for accuracy and not try to go so hard, because this is somewhat of an abrasive surface and you will take some of the skin off your forehead if you try to come into it too hard. So just use it for accuracy. You may use it from the front to work on things like raking the eyes and trapping the head to bring the elbow in. You can rake, headbutt, elbow, trap, elbow, and do an inner forearm smash. Work on coming in close, raking, trapping the head, driving a knee into the groin, driving a knee into the ribs, coming into the head with an elbow, things like that. So, as you can see, there's a lot of things that we can do with the fighting man dummy, or the big green man here, as we sometimes call him. The next thing we're going to demonstrate is what we refer to as the floor bag. This is what we like to call the floor bag, because it somewhat resembles a heavy bag that sits on the floor. There's a lot of things that you can do with this. We use it primarily to work low-line kicking techniques, such as the low-line hook kick, the low-line side kick, and the low-line oblique kick, or cross-stamping kick. Okay, my assistant Forrest Wade is going to join me now, and we're going to show you some of the things that we can do with the bag. Okay, Notice how Forrest is holding the bag. He's giving me some reinforcement. Notice he's keeping his knee bent. That's so that if the impact transfers through to his leg, the knee is bent and he can absorb the shock. Okay, first thing I'll show you is working the lead leg hook kick against the floor bag. Okay, this particular floor bag is called a coach, and it's from Century Martial Arts. So if you've never owned one of these, it's a good thing to have. And the coach from Century is a very good one, actually one of the few on the market, but a very good piece of equipment. So contact Century Martial Arts if you're interested. Okay, so from the basic on guard position, what I'm going to do, I'm going to either step and slide up and kick, or I'm just going to slide up and kick. Either way, I'm firing a hard kick either into the knee, the outside of the knee, the sciatic nerve, or the inside of the thigh, or the groin. You can work all of that in this particular area. Okay, so Forrest will get ready now, and I'll demonstrate some hook kicking. Okay, so from the on guard position, just move in and kick. Okay, I think you get the idea. Now we're going to turn this way. I'll show you the low line side kick, which could be fired to the knee, either the front of the knee, inside of the knee, outside of the knee, or to the shin. Okay, from here, I'm going to slide up and kick. Okay, notice the lack of chambering in the leg. Notice that the kick goes straight from where the foot is into the target. Okay, put a few of these in here, give you an idea of what that's like. Notice the directness of the Jeet Kune Do side kick. Nothing wasted. Right in there. Or you can work on tapping the shin with it. Like so. I can also, while he's in this position, work on firing a rear leg hook kick into the sciatic nerve or the back of the knee. Come this way a little bit. Okay. Like so. Usually this would be preceded by some type of lead leg kick, such as a straight kick to the knee. So I'm going here and following up here. It's a very powerful strike. Notice how direct it is. Notice I don't go like that. Notice it's just straight in. So 1, 2. I can also set it up by feigning with the hand. 1, 2. Like so. Okay, another kick that we can work is the oblique kick or cross stamping kick. Okay, I can work this from a left lead, kicking with my right leg, or from a right lead, kicking with my left leg. Okay, like so. Okay, that'll give you some ideas on what we can do with the floor bag. When I fire the oblique kick, when I fire the side kick, I want to make sure that I impact with the heel, which is the strongest area of impact for those particular kicks. In the next sequence, I'm going to show you what we do with the Wing Chun wall bag. In this sequence, we're going to show you a little bit of what we do with the Wing Chun wall bag. What I have here is a single bag and a double bag. There's also a such thing as a triple bag. I have one, but it's not in the frame at this moment. Okay, so this is the single bag, this is the double bag, and give you a little bit of idea of what we do with these. Okay, in Jeet Kune Do, just as in Wing Chun, we have the rotating straight punch fired with a vertical fist. The Wing Chun wall bag is very good for strengthening and developing your short-range striking power for these vertical fist punches. Now these particular bags are filled with beans. You'll see some a little bit later that are filled with sand, but these are filled with dried beans. Okay, the sand bag is for the more advanced practitioner, someone like myself who's experienced a lot of impact on their hands and they don't have any problems. One of Bruce Lee's favorite things to do, he was somewhat of a prankster and he liked to trick people and liked to have a little fun with people sometimes. He had 3 different wall bags on his wall. Each one was filled with progressively denser filler. And what he would do, he would come up and he would strike the first one, which would usually be filled with dried beans or something like that. He would strike it real hard, and then he would invite his guests to do the same thing. And the guests would strike the bag pretty hard, and they would, feel pretty good about it. Felt pretty good to them. Then Bruce would go to the next bag, which was full of sand, and he would strike that one very hard, very hard. He would hit that one even harder than he had hit the first bag. Well, then the guest would follow, and apparently they would say, well, he hit that one really hard, so I should be able to hit it really hard too. Then they would hit it real hard, and then they would kind of have to stifle the pain, because the sandbag is very hard, very solid surface, almost like striking a concrete wall or a solid wooden wall. So then Bruce would move to the next bag, which was filled with iron filings, or iron, what's sometimes referred to as iron sand or iron sawdust. And this bag was even denser than the sandbag and even harder. Well, then he would haul off and hit this one harder than he had hit the other 2. Well, then the guest would follow, and this time they would normally scream out in pain when they tried to hit the bag real hard and ended up bruising 1 or 2 or all of their knuckles with the strike. So Bruce had a lot of fun with these bags, as well as using them for practical training purposes. Okay, the single bag, when you train with this, you want to mount it at your own head height. Stand square to it so neither shoulder leads. Measure off so that you're impacting with the bag just before full extension of the arm, like so. And then you're going to work the rotation process, striking into the bag with the bottom 3 knuckles. Like so. Okay, that's working more or less single punches. All right, if you want to, you can assume the Jeet Kune Do fighting on guard position and measure off. And work on firing the punches from there. Get your waist and hips into it. Work on trying to hit the same area of the bag all the time. You can also work the rear hand or cross coming into the bag. Once again, working with a vertical fist. Notice how my lead hand comes up to cover as I strike with the rear. That's something you want to always remember. Work that cover whenever possible. Okay, we can also practice multiple rotating straight punches like so against the bag. This has a really heavy conditioning effect on the knuckles. The double bag, you can strike the upper bag with the vertical fist. The lower bag, you can strike with a vertical fist or a horizontal fist, or what we call ping choi in Jeet Kune Do. So you can strike upper bag or lower bag, working on the downward punch, which is normally delivered with a horizontal fist or ping choi. Okay, in Wing Chun, they work on developing the waist, the pivot power, the torquing power by firing double punches, starting with the hands on the center and torquing in like so, working the double punches. That's another drill that you can do. You can also work on developing the energy, the power for a clawing strike, which is sometimes used to tear at the face, the throat, or the groin. On the other bag, that's good. You can also work on the vertical palm, the side palm, you turn it at an angle, the back fist, or kwa choi, and the cutting palm, or knife hand blow, as it's referred to in some martial arts. You can also work on the double bag, the low palm strike, coming in like so, which is often used to the groin or to the solar plexus of an opponent. You can also work that low clawing and tearing motion as if clawing into the groin and ripping. Okay, you can also stand to the side and work your high and low jiao sao palm for conditioning the jiao sao for impact. Okay, now if you have a triple bag, your third bag would be about right here, and you can work on an upward palm or an upward clawing motion to the groin. These are just some of the things that we can do with the Wing Chun wall bag. When we come back, we're going to show you a little bit of basic focus glove training. In this sequence, we're going to show you a little bit of what we do in Jeet Kune Do with focus glove training. My assistant Forrest Wade will be joining me shortly, and we're going to show you some of the focus gloves that some of the focus glove drills that we do to develop hand techniques, elbows, head, knees, and feet. Now, once again, this is going to be sort of a general coverage. You have to use your imagination and come up with some things that you can do on your own with the focus gloves. All this equipment allows you to be very creative, and if you just use your imagination a little bit, you can come up with many, many more uses for this particular equipment. So Forrest is going to join me now with the gloves. We'll show you some of the basic Jeet Kune Do focus glove training. Okay, once again, as with the heavy bag, some people like to tape their knuckles, tape their wrists, and wear bag gloves. But just like with the heavy bag, I prefer to strike the focus gloves bare knuckle and work on the reality of the impact. Okay, we'll start with some simple things that you can work on the glove, and we'll take it from there and go into some combinations and some other things that you can do. Okay, so what we're going to start out with is just, I'll have Forrest turn to the side here slightly and hold the glove. Okay, One major use of the glove is developing what we refer to in Jeet Kune Do as the intersecting fist. As most of you know, Jeet Kune Do means the way of the intersecting fist. So this intersecting fist punch is a very important part of Jeet Kune Do. So this is the proper glove holding position for working the intersecting fist and allowing the opponent to properly absorb the impact. So from here we measure off, and directly from the on guard position without any repositioning or without any telegraphic movement, we just explode right into the punch. So from here I measure off so that I'm touching the glove with my bottom 3 knuckles, which will be your impact area, at almost full extension. So from the on guard position, I explode right into the glove with the punch and recover immediately to the on guard position. That's very important. Also notice that my rear hand does not drop. It stays up and on guard. Okay. As you can see, that punch has quite a bit of impact. Now Forrest is going to raise this glove. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the Kwa Choi, or back fist strike. Okay, once again, I'm going to turn the glove. It's going to be about head high. We're going to turn it at a slight angle. And once again, the trick here is to move from the on guard position with no repositioning, no telegraphic motion. Just explode right from where you are into the glove with no visual preparation. Like so. Also, in Jeet Kune Do, we have what we call the lead hand low position, which is where the lead hand is held down here. So instead of here, our position is now here. This Kwa Choi, or back fist, works quite well from this position. So from the Jong, or on guard position, lead hand low, we fire this back fist. It's very deceptive because it's not expected. It's coming on an indirect angle. Like so. Okay, that's the Kwa Choi, or back fist. Okay, we're going to bring this glove back up now. All right, I'm going to measure off by torquing through and extending across so that the center of my elbow is in the glove. Okay? Center of my elbow is at the center of the glove. This is proper hooking range. Okay? So now I'm going to work the Ao Choi, or hook punch, of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. Once again, from the on guard position, I try to deliver with no telegraphic, no preparatory motion. Notice how I get my body into it. Notice how the waist and the hips come into play. Very powerful blow. Once again, very important to keep the wrist straight. Notice that I go from the on guard position, I hook through. Notice I pass through the target. I don't just hit at the target, I hit through the target and return immediately to the on guard position. Okay, another strike, a hooking strike that we can work from this same position, is the Jiao Sao, or running hand, or circling hand strike with the palm. Okay, so from here, alright, I'm simply going to torque my body, pivot, torque my waist and hips into it, and fire with an open hand, striking with the palm. Most people don't realize what a powerful strike this is. This blow hits very hard, very powerful strike. Okay, then we're going to bring this glove up again. He's going to turn this way. Now I'm going to work the cross, or the rear hand straight punch. Come in this way a little bit. Okay, now the cross can either be fired with a vertical fist or with a horizontal fist. So for training purposes, you need to train both. You need to be familiar with both. Now, for this particular strike, considering that this is a very powerful strike, he needs to give the glove just a little more resistance. This is what we call energy feed. The person holding the focus gloves is referred to as the feeder. The reason he's called a feeder is because he is responsible for feeding the proper energy into the glove. Okay, so Forrest being the feeder here, he's going to feed the energy into the glove. Now I'm going to deliver a very hard strike here, a very punishing blow. So he's going to have to give a little more resistance to the glove so that I don't just throw my shoulder and my elbow out because I hit something that's barely there. Okay, so once again, from the on guard position, I measure off like so. Okay, I get set and I fire the punch. Now I'm trying to fire directly into the center of the glove. That's very important on all these techniques. Try to fire directly into the center of the glove. Okay, notice when I punch, that my lead hand goes up to cover. That's very important. Always work your cover. Okay, always work your cover. Okay, we can work the low hook. Okay, you've already seen the high hook. We can work the low hook. From the on guard position, torque in, pivot, and fire the strike. Okay, like so. All right, now we can also work what we call a shovel hook. Forrest is going to turn this way and hold the glove like so. From the on guard position, I pivot on the balls of the feet, torque my waist and hips in, drive this in with the elbow close to the hip bone. So from here, this is what we call a shovel hook. You can also work it from the rear side. Okay, shovel hook. All right, you can hold the gloves like so, and I can work my right uppercut and my left uppercut. Okay, notice once again how I get my body into the glove. All right, now, he can hold the glove here, and I can work the overhand hook. Directly from the on guard position, I fire it in. This, once again, is a very hard blow. You sink the body weight into it, much more than most people expect. Okay? I think you get the idea there. All right, now, we're going to go to what we call glove hold position for right lead now. Okay? I'm going to measure off here. Okay? Now, I can go jab, cross, hook. I can go jab, hook, cross. I can go cross, hook, jab. Okay? So I can be real creative here. I can go hook, cross, jab. I can go hook, jab, cross. So I can work all possibilities there. So there's you some ideas for that. Okay, now I can multiply the combinations. Okay, I can make it go 4, 5, 6 techniques. All right, we're going to do a 5-shot technique here. All right, this time I'm going to go jab, cross, hook. He has to turn this glove slightly. Okay. after I hit it the second time. Okay, so we got jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross. Okay, so jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross. Now the back fist should straighten the glove before the cross. Okay, but if it doesn't, the feeder has to make a conscious effort to go from here to here. Back fist to cross. Okay, so we have jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross. You can type. Okay? Talk to your feeder throughout the drills. Let him know whether he's feeding you good energy, whether he's feeding you bad energy, good position, bad position. These things are very important. Okay? So, now we got a 5-shot combination. Jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross. Jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross. Okay? Ready? Okay? There's a 5-shot combination. All right, now, I could have asked him, after the hook, to immediately drop this glove down to here. Okay? So what we would have had then was jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross, uppercut. Okay? So, now we got jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross, uppercut. Okay? Don't go too low with it. Okay? Jab, cross, hook, back fist, cross, uppercut. Okay? Alright? I can use a glove hold position like this, and I can go jab, cross, uppercut. Okay? Jab, cross, uppercut. Or I can go uppercut, jab, cross. Or jab, uppercut, jab, cross. Or jab, uppercut, cross, uppercut. Okay? So those are some possible combinations there. All right, he can hold the gloves here for me. And this is the glove hold position for low, high hook. Okay, so I go. Okay, notice how I circle and circle. Very economical. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay? Boom, boom. All right? You can change it here. Now we're in position for high, low hook. Boom, boom. Okay? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay? High, low. High, low. Flat targets are very important here. High, low. High, low. Okay? Then you could go here, and I could work uppercut, overhand. Uppercut, overhand. Uppercut, overhand. Uppercut, overhand. Okay, you could go here, and I could work uppercut, overhand. Uppercut, overhand. Uppercut, overhand. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay? So, these are just some of the possible hand combinations. Alright, he can hold the gloves here, and I can stand and work my straight blast or rotating straight punch like so. Or, with the same hold, I can work on trapping the head, treat this like the head, trap the head, and drive an elbow in. Trap the head and drive an elbow in. Trap elbow, okay? Alright, he can hold the gloves here, and I can work on elbow, 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 elbow. Okay, we can do a little drill where I stand here like this, and he will either lightly press here or lightly press here. Okay, now I take the light pressure and react to it by firing an elbow. Okay, that's another drill we can do, all right? He can hold the gloves here, and I can trap and pull into a headbutt. Once again, making sure I'm using the top of the head just above the hairline to headbutt with, okay? Not the forehead, the top of the head just above the hairline. Okay. He can hold the gloves here, and I can work either a front vertical, or if he holds them here, a front angular knee smash. Okay? Or I can work a rear vertical, or if he holds them here, a rear angular knee smash. He can hold it here, and I can work on delivering an elbow and a knee simultaneously. Boom. 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 Okay? Simultaneously, like so. So we can get creative like that. Alright, then we have all kinds of kicks we can work, such as the simplest being the jig tack or straight kick. Like that. The out tack or hook kick. Like that. Okay? You can go here, and I can work the quad tack or inverted hook kick. Like that. Okay? You can take this glove and hold it here, and I can work the reverse hook or sweep kick. Like so. Or, another way of doing that same kick, like so, okay? So, those are some of the kicks I can work. He can turn here, give me this, and I can work the basic side kick. Okay, now, when you kick just a focus glove with a side kick, it feels like nothing. But what you have to remember is that this is a light target, and the side kick is a heavy, hard kick. Okay, so it's just going to be that way. So you have to use this more to develop your aim, to develop your accuracy, to focus on the target. Okay, he can present this to me, and this is the position for either the backspin kick fired with 180 degrees or the spin back kick fired with 360 degrees. Okay, this is 180 range, so from here I just turn and bring the foot straight in like so. Okay, if I'm a little further away, I can step, spin, and come in there. So from here to here to here. Like so. Or he can hold here, and I can do a spinning reverse hook or spinning sweep kick. Like so. Okay, now, thank you, Forrest. These spinning kicks, these higher kicks, are not often used in Jun Jeet Kune Do because we try to concentrate on the practical. But it's good training to know how to do these kicks. Okay, when we come back, we're going to work with what we call the forearm shield. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the use of what we refer to as the forearm shield. Okay, my assistant Forrest Wade is going to join me with the shield now, and we're going to show you some of the basic drills that we do working with this particular shield. Okay, I'm going to have Forrest come over here and, okay, kind of bend down, take a wide stance. Right now, we're going to work the basic lead leg hook kick. Okay, now we're going to work this firing it with quite some power. So the forearm shield is real good for working power into the hook kick. Okay, so I'm going to warm up a couple of times with this, and then I'll really fire some in there, and then we'll change the angle and let you see another angle on it. Okay, show you another angle on that. Okay, another drill that we do, hold the shield down about groin height and work on somewhat of a powerful, let's back up a little bit, somewhat of a powerful straight kick or jig tech coming in to the groin area. Okay, that's what it's going to look like, just straight up and in. Notice once again the directness of the Jeet Kune kick. Okay, let you see another angle on that. Okay? Another way we use this, you have your partner stand and put it to the thigh. Widen your stance, bend your knees. Okay? Stand and put it to the thigh, like so. And you work on firing a hook kick in that would normally be directed to the sciatic nerve. So by having your partner stand like this, you can get the shield into the position just as if you were firing into that sciatic nerve. Okay, so from the basic on guard position, okay, I move in and kick. Show you another angle on that. All right. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. That's some of the drills that we do with the forearm shield. Okay, there are a few other things that you can do with that shield, but that's just some of the things that we do. So I'll give you a basic idea. Next, we'll demonstrate the double end bag. In this sequence, we're going to talk a little bit about the double end bag, what is also sometimes referred to as the top and bottom bag. Okay, now, this is secured by a solid non-elastic band from the ground up, and then by a stretchy elastic band from the top of the bag to the top mounting point. Okay, now, you want to mount your bag so that when your knees are bent, the bag is about head high. So you're working with a head high target. In other words, working against an opponent approximately the same height as yourself. That's where you'll get the most benefit from the drills that you do with this bag. Okay, there are many things that you can do with the bag, many drills that I could show you with the bag, but we're going to concentrate on some of the simpler things, some of the things that I think you would get the most benefit out of at this time. Okay, one of the easiest drills to work is just the basic leading straight punch drill. Now, a good way to start off is to pull the cord back, release it, and then strike the bag when it returns. So, assume the Jeet Kune on guard position, pull the cord back, release it, and work on striking the bag as it comes back at you. Okay, now, when you do this, notice very carefully when the bag flies away from you, whether or not it goes in a straight line, or whether it wobbles a lot, or whether it curves. If it's going smoothly in a straight line, chances are you're doing okay with that. Alright, then you're ready to just start trying to do the punch continuously. Allow it to return. Punch, 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 punch. Working on the directness of the punch every time. Then you're ready to start trying to do combinations. Or you might want to just do the cross drill to start with. Just release, hit with the cross. Grab, release, hit with the cross. Grab, release, hit with the cross. Once again, noticing the path of the bag and where it goes when you hit it. Going in a straight line when you hit it, chances are you're doing a pretty good job. Okay, so there's the cross. Okay, so the first combination that you work is a basic jab cross combination. All right, now, you may want to start off by releasing here then, jab, cross, like so. Or, when you get a little bit more advanced, just jab, cross, okay? Just hit it with a jab, then when it returns, hit it with a cross, okay? See there, I didn't allow it to move any in between. I just hit immediately on the return. Okay? So, once you get this jab cross down, like so, another drill that you can do is the parry, the jab and parry drill. Okay, so you jab, parry, okay? Jab, parry, jab, parry, okay? Jab, parry, jab, parry, jab, parry, okay? So you work the timing on the parry. Okay? You can also jab slip. Okay? Jab slip. Okay? You can jab catch, jab catch, jab catch, jab catch, like so. Cross, slip, jab, jab, cross, slip, jab, jab, cross, slip, jab, 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 cross, jab, cross, okay? Now, you can also gradually learn to integrate hooking strikes in. These require a bit more timing. You can also add elbow strikes. Okay. So there we kind of freestyled it, okay? I can trap the head and headbutt. Okay, here's a little sensitivity type drill that I like to do using the double end bag. This is good for when you use a manging sao or neck pulling hand to trap your partner's head or your opponent's head, pull it into an elbow, then trap from the other side and elbow from the other side. This little drill does a lot to develop the sensitivity necessary for that particular type of movement. Okay, as I said, these are just some of the drills that we do with the double end bag. When we come back, we'll go further into equipment training. In this sequence, we're going to show you how we use the speed bag in Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. Okay, once again, I'm going to stick to just some basic things. The speed bag is a rather difficult piece of equipment to learn how to use because it requires a certain amount of timing and rhythm. And the ability that you develop on the speed bag can do nothing but help you with your timing and rhythm in things like trapping and simultaneous attack and defense and things of that nature. Also, the conditioning effect on the upper body, the chest, shoulders, and triceps is very good. Okay, so starting off, I'm just going to show you just one of the simplest drills that we do. It's just a basic strike. Okay, now we strike the speed bag differently from the way that we actually hit in Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do because of the structure of the bag and the way that it works. The way that we actually hit in Jeet Kune Do using the vertical fist, the straight punch, is not so effective. It's not such a good way to work the speed bag. So we use the speed bag more like a boxer uses it, except for until you get to a more advanced level, it's hard to do a lot of things with the speed bag. So I'm going to show you just some basic things that'll get you off to a good start. And like I said, then you can use your imagination and take it from there. Okay, we have speed bag here. This is a little bit larger than the speed bag we have to the back here. Now this particular speed bag is going to move a little bit faster because it's smaller. Okay, so this larger bag is going to be a bit slower, and the smaller bag is going to be a bit faster. Okay, so we'll start off with the larger bag, and I'll show you just one of the basic drills that we do. Okay, now one thing that training with a speed bag teaches you to do is to keep your hands up, because if you're wanting to change hands at any time during the drill, if you want to change hands, if you drop the hand, you won't get there in time. It's just that simple. And if you want to insert a half beat shot on the change, okay, if you want to insert the half beat shot like that on the change, if you drop the hand, there's no way. All right, so just basically to start off, I get my students to assume a right lead and put the right hand up here. Okay, now what we're working for here, we're trying to develop a smooth, even, constant rhythm in striking. So, I'm going to get this going a little bit for you here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. See what I mean there? Just a smooth, even, constant striking rhythm. Okay, then I tell them to do the same thing with the left side. Like so. Alright, then I get them to get a sequence of beats going and then change hands. notice I inserted a little half beat change in there. Okay, that's the next thing. I try to get them to change up on the half beat. Okay, so now I'm going to get the bag going again, and I'm going to change hands. And when I change up, I'm going to change up by inserting a half beat shot. Okay, all right, so now you get the idea how we insert the half beat shot in there. Okay, now I'm just going to get sort of an unplanned rhythm going on it, and whenever I change up, I'm going to change up using the half beat. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. All right, every now and then, the swivel will vibrate a little bit like that, and it can offset your rhythm and offset your timing. It can offset the motion of the bag. So it takes a lot of patience and a lot of effort to learn how to use the speed bag. All right, now we're going to do a little backhand, overhand type rhythm drill. So I'll be coming in here, here, then here, then here, here. Okay, so we're going here, 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 here. Have like a backhand, overhand, backhand, overhand, backhand, overhand going. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like now. Okay, so you get the idea there. Okay, these are some good drills that you can do for Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do to train with the speed bag, to develop the endurance in the upper body, to develop the triceps, the shoulders, the chest, to develop the muscles of the neck, the trapezius, and this will help increase your overall striking power. Also, it will help increase your understanding of timing and rhythm. Okay, when we come back, we're going to show you a little bit about how we use the Mook Jong, or Wing Chun dummy, or wooden man in Jeet Kune Do. This is the Mook Jong, often used in the Wing Chun style of Chinese Kung Fu, which is the system that Bruce Lee first started out in the United States. Okay, the traditional Wing Chun system has a form involving the Mook Jong. Depending on who you study under, you may be taught 108 moves, or you may be taught 116 moves. So, what we do in Jeet Kune Do, although some Jeet Kune Do practitioners do learn and use the form for their training purposes, what we prefer to do is to use the dummy in more of a freestyle fashion, more of a freestyle manner, just to develop flow, to develop power and sensitivity for some of our trapping hand movements that we use in Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do. Also for developing power and sliding leverage, and for developing power and speed and accuracy in our Lin Sil Dai Dar, or simultaneous defense and attack movements. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the dummy now. This is the trunk. Down low, I don't think you can see it in the picture, but down low we have a leg coming out. Then we have the lower arm. So you have two upper arms, the lower arm, and you have a leg. Okay, the leg can be used for training your entering techniques. You can train to kick or engage the leg on entry. Okay, now the upper arms, you'll notice, have a bit of mobility to them. The lower arm has a bit of mobility to it. Okay. Okay, it should be that way. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right, this would represent a low line engagement or a low line strike coming in. This would represent a high line strike. This could also represent a high line strike. But ideally, one of these represents the right arm, the other represents the left arm. The trunk represents, of course, the opponent's body. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just show you a few things that we can do with the dummy to give you an idea of how the dummy works and what the dummy's all about. All right, as I've said, we use the dummy to train certain trapping hand movements, fan sao, trapping hand. Very important part of Jeet Kune Do training is hand immobilization attack, one of the 5 ways of attack. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to show you just some simple traps that we do on the dummy, just basic training on the dummy, give you some idea of what it's all about and how it works. Okay, now, I can come in and strike the arm of the dummy here, and that represents a high line outer wrist engagement. Then I can slap it and punch through. So this is here, contact, slapping hand or pop sao, and then I fire through with a punch. Okay, like so. On a live opponent, it would look like this. Okay, I get my contact here. Okay, get the initial contact. I pop sao and I punch. Okay, like this. So on the dummy, I'm here, and you saw what it looked like on a person. Okay, another example of a drill I could do on the dummy would be to parry, trap, and strike. Parry, trap, strike. Like so. If my partner went a left lead, or if my opponent went a left lead, and he attacked me with his left hand with a straight punch, I could parry, trap, and deliver a back fist. Like so. So once again, on the dummy. I could also work this low, like so. All right, if I really wanted to tighten the movement up, I could work it on the outside arm and come through the inside with my back fist. Okay, another common trapping movement in Jeet Kune Do is what we call a lap sao, or grabbing hand. Okay. Okay, I engage, I grab, pulling my opponent toward me, and I straight punch. So we're here, we're here. Notice, I punch through, forcing the economy of motion into my straight punch. Okay? That also forces me to keep the elbow down, which has an application in the actual trapping movement when I trap my partner. Okay? From here, I turn my wrist, I grab, and I punch. Okay? Now, notice here that when I punch, I brush his arm lightly. Okay? That's very important, because that checks this arm and that keeps him from using his elbow to strike me as he comes in. So once again, there's the movement actually applied. So on the dummy, trap and torque through with a punch, and you saw how it works on a person. Okay, now I can work certain striking and trapping combinations on the dummy. Okay, I can come in here and go around to here. Okay, so I come here, I trap, and I circle and strike. On an opponent, that would be as if I threw a back fist and he blocked it here, and I feel a lot of force in his block, so I trap and come around and strike with a jiao sao, or running hand. So I throw my back fist, he blocks, okay, I do the jiao sao and come in here. Alright, so the back fist comes in, he blocks, jiao sao comes in and hits. From there, I can trap the head and bring an elbow in. On the dummy, if I wanted to do the same thing, jiao sao, the dummy trunk represents the neck, and I bring the elbow in. Okay? I may block low. Deliver a pox out or slapping hand, and fire a back fist. Like so. Okay, that would be if my opponent threw a punch low. I block, I trap, and I hit. Okay, like so. So that would be on the dummy. Alright? I could do a combination involving a low to high technique. I could go here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, 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 here. Okay, these are just what we call free flow moves on the dummy. I do my bridge striking. Okay, there you see a parry, a bridging bill G or finger jab to a lop sao and hit. Okay, so I have parry, bill G, lop and hit. Against an opponent in a left lead, that would be against his lead punch coming in, that would be parry, bill G, lop and hit. Okay, now from here I could use the knee and the elbow, and once again use the knee if I wanted to, all kind of things. Okay, these are just some of the things that we can do with the Mook Jong. Okay, when we come back, I'm going to show you a special device that I designed. It's a Mook Jong that's completely spring-loaded, and I think you'll like it. As I said before, this is a spring-loaded Mook Jong. Notice the complete mobility, that it springs right back to the starting position. Okay, it's also spring-loaded from the top, so when you deliver a movement that we call a Jeet sao or jerking hand, it reacts by springing and going right back into place. Okay, now, when you're working with a live opponent, if you were to say, deliver a pox sao to that person's arm and hit, when you pop, that person shifts somewhat to the side, because when the force of that pop hits them, it knocks them over to the side. So, on the spring dummy, you get that same realistic resistance. Okay, it's real good for sliding leverage strikes also, because when I apply this, it moves like a real arm would move if I were to parry an opponent. When I parry the arm, his arm moves off center, and I can take the center. Okay, so that's another thing that the spring-loaded dummy is very good for. It's also spring-loaded, so if you deliver a lop sao, it sort of fights you. A lop sao, a grabbing hand, okay, it sort of fights you. So you can develop a lot of power using this particular piece of equipment. And by free flowing on it and developing certain movements, taking that mobility into consideration, you can really develop some good flow, some good realistic flow. Because like I said earlier, this moves more like a live opponent. So you can develop a really good flow working with this particular piece of equipment. It's real good for developing power in movements such as the Jeet sao. See how when I jut, the whole thing resists and then goes right back into position. So it's very practical, very good piece of equipment. The next thing that we're going to show you is another invention of mine that's called a spring arm. That's very good for developing energy and sensitivity in Jeet Kune Do. This is a training device that I designed back in the late 70s. I call it simply the spring arm. I'll be marketing this device in the near future through CSI Productions up in Washington State. Okay, as you'll see, This arm has a lot of spring. Okay, so what that tells you is if it gets away from you during training and hits you, it can be very painful. In fact, the reason that the end of it is rounded, it used to be just chopped off straight, but I rounded it and smoothed it out because at one point one of my students was working on a drill where you beat, which would represent either a beat to the lead hand or a parry against a punch coming in, and then trap and then back fist like so. He was working on the drill and he hit it and his hand slipped off and this hand missed it and it hit him right in the side of the mouth like that and punched a hole clean through his face. So that made it necessary to round this out and smooth it off so that if it did hit you, it may bruise you, and I guess it could even cut you, but it wouldn't be near as bad as it was in that particular instance. This is the original spring arm that I built in 1978. And as you can see, it still has quite a bit of spring to it, and it still holds up very well. But I wanted to use the original one in the tape so you could see how well this piece of equipment has held up over the years. Okay, now, there are several things that you can do with a spring arm. It's used primarily for energy and sensitivity development. You can use it for things like a parry, sliding leverage strike, and a lop sow and a straight punch. Sliding leverage strike, lop and straight punch on this side. Okay, you can use it to develop the pop sow on either side. Okay, like so. Okay, I can use it to develop my bong sow, lop sow, and strike. Bong sow, lop sow, strike. Bong sow, lop sow, strike. Bong sow, lop sow, strike. Okay, I can use it to develop just various flowing striking moves, and I can just stick to it and flow. So, as you can see, this is a very useful piece of equipment. I can just stick, flow, trap, strike at any moment with great freedom. So I think you can see the value of this particular piece of training equipment. And when it's available later on from CSI Productions, I hope you'll get one. In the next sequence, we're going to show you how we use the kicking shield in Jeet Kune. In this sequence, we're going to show you how we use the kicking shield training in Jeet Kune. Okay, we're only going to do a couple of things here, but you'll get the idea. Okay, Forrest is going to join me now, and see, I want you to stand right here. Okay, now I'm going to show you what we call a burning step side kick. Okay, this is, in my opinion, the most powerful kick in all of martial arts. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of ride with it. Okay. Now I'm going to do a few warm-ups coming in, and then I'm going to really fire one in there. So check this out and see what you think. But this is one of the uses for the kicking shield, to develop very powerful kicks, because the kicking shield can take the impact. It can absorb the shock and save your partner a lot of pain and a lot of trouble. Okay, so do a few warm-up runs, and then I'll fire one in there. Always pays to warm up. Remember that. Always warm up. No matter what you're doing, do it a few times slow before you're ready to really put one in there. Okay, let's move one now. Okay, that's the basic burning step side kick. All right, another kick that we can use this for is the spin kick. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the 360-degree variety of the Chun tech, or spin back kick. So from here, I'm going to step through to here, then I'm going to spin and thrust straight into the shield. Okay, so I'll do a few warm-ups, then I'll fire some in there. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's the basic spin kick. Okay, there are other things that you can do with the shield, but those are a couple of things that we consider to be of great importance in our training. So when we come back, I'm going to show you a piece of equipment called the sand leg and how we use it in Jeet Kune. In this sequence, I'm going to show you the use of a device called the sand leg. This is it. It attaches to any heavy bag by the use of straps and has these hooks that attach to the rings on your bag. And all you have to do is just fill it with the filler of your choice and center it up and tighten it down, and it's ready to go. Okay, it's used to train leg kicks, okay? Like a low side kick, like so. Okay, like I can really put a side kick in there because I don't have to worry about doing any damage to the target. So I can really impact. Okay? Now, another thing I can do with it is the low line hook kick, as if I were firing to the outside of the knee or firing in behind the knee to break my opponent's stance and drop him. So the low line hook kick, like that. Okay. Another thing I can do, I can find the point on the bag that represents about knee height, and I can work on my accuracy on a straight line shot into the knee, like so. Okay, this uses kind of a flicking force. What I'm trying to do is strike the kneecap from underneath, tearing it loose from the bottom. So I can develop my accuracy and develop that flicking force by kicking the sand leg. Okay? So there's another use for the leg. This is an excellent piece of training equipment. The company that carries the sand leg is in Arizona. You can find an ad for the sand leg in one of my USJKDA newsletters or in one of the martial arts magazines. This piece of equipment is advertised quite effectively, and my students really enjoy working with it, and you ought to get one. I think you would like it. There's a lot more things that you can work with it on, such as moving in and getting contact with it, training to check the leg and prepare for a sweep or a takedown or something like that. You can also work on just shooting the knee into it at close range to train to shoot your knee into the side of someone's knee when you've moved in close. So you can work on just putting the knee in there like that, as if you were kneeing into the side of the knee or kneeing into the sciatic nerve on someone's leg. You can also hang it a bit lower or hang it a bit higher and work on various techniques like that. Another thing that I found effective to do with the sand leg is to hang it from some type of heavy beam, such as the beam that I have here. Hang it down so that the last few inches of it are about head high, and fill it with a substance that would enable you to punch it, and fill it so that it's not quite full, so that it has a lot of mobility. And then you can train on working your accuracy on trying to hit it while it's moving. So it's good for training to hit a moving target, and also it's good for conditioning the knuckles when used like that. There's a lot of other creative things that you can do with a sand leg. In the next sequence, I'm going to show you what I call the slip and hit dummy. That'll be the final piece of equipment that we'll be demonstrating on this tape. This is a device that I call the slip and hit dummy. It's actually very simple. It's a padded metal arm, a low bag filled with sand, and a high bag filled with sand. Okay, now this sand is much more solid than the beans in the bag that you saw earlier. So when I hit this sand, you can hear that the impact is very solid. Okay, now remember I told you that when we fire low in Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, we use the ping choi, or horizontal fist. So this low bag, I can either drop my body down and fire a vertical fist in, or I can maintain somewhat of an upright position and fire the ping choi, or horizontal fist. This would represent a punch or a strike coming at me. So what I'm doing here, I'm slipping and I'm hitting at the same time. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how we free flow on this. Okay, I start off usually standing square to it, just facing it with the representation of the attacking limb pointed right at my center line. Okay, now what I will do, I'll either step out to my right or I'll step out to my left, and I'll slip and I'll hit. Okay, so I slip and I hit. Notice how I work the cover as I slip and hit. Okay, so this trains you to slip a shot coming in, trains a lot of body motion here, a lot of body motion. Trains you to strike low simultaneously and high simultaneously as you slip, like so. Okay, you can also remove the arm and use this device strictly as a striking target, striking the high bag and striking the low bag without having this obstruction here. Okay? There's another variation of this that I build. It has a leg coming out, such as the leg on the Mook Jong, or Wing Chun dummy, so that you can work your leg obstruct as you come in on the target. Okay. This is the last piece of equipment demonstrated on this tape. I hope you've enjoyed Volume 15 of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Complete, Training with Equipment. I will look forward to seeing you in the next volume, which will cover the use of the Mook Jong. That will be an in-depth look at the Mook Jong, the spring-loaded Mook Jong, and the spring arm dummy for training. Okay, I'm the Executive Director of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance. If you're interested in the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance and would like to become a member, write to me, Sifu Lamar M. Davis II, Executive Director, USJKDA, at 267 West Valley Avenue, Suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama. Also, if you haven't seen the other tapes in this series, you need to get your hands on them. They're all very in-depth, they cover a lot of material, and go further into Bruce Lee's fighting art than any other tapes available on the market. Other tapes that you'll see coming in the future, we have an Advanced Trapping Hand series coming out. We have a series on street combat. We have a series on USJKDA instructor training. And we also have a series on Jun Jeet Kune Do training methods. Another series that's currently available is the seminar series. This is footage from various seminars that I've done all around the country. So, for information on these tapes and the USJKDA, feel free to write to me at any time at the previously mentioned address, and I'll be glad to send you some information. I hope you've enjoyed this tape, and I look forward to seeing you in another tape.